What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave Koss.
And I'm Matt Milstead.
And it's been a long week.
Yes, it has. For you. Actually, my week went by way fast. I had so much to do that it's just like it flew by.
Well, I was kind of the same way, I guess, but it was still a long week. But this is the Brograph Motion Graphics podcast. It's a supplement to the Brograph.com tutorial website that we both run.
Supplement.
And
make you big and strong.
It's a supplement. We talk about things in a lot more detail, I think, sometimes in audio, because we can kind of like feed off of each other, go back and forth. And
totally. And what's really nice is like we'll have things that we've said a million times that we can't do, and then we'll come to find out that we can do it. And It's just easier to talk about that here, which we will talk about today.
That's true. Yeah, so I start a new job tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You start a new job?
I start a new job tomorrow.
Is that official tomorrow?
I officially start a new job tomorrow.
And what is your new job?
My new job is working for myself.
Yeah, working for yourself.
I hope my new boss is not a beehole.
I've met him. He is.
Oh, dang. So yeah, I'm working on a bunch of projects right now. I'm working on wrapping up a project for the company that I'm still technically working for, but not going into the office. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to drop my kid off at school, and I'm going to go to Starbucks with my laptop and sit down. Because if everybody can't see me working on something, then what's the point?
Right.
And
are you going to be periscoping it the whole time?
I should.
Yeah, you should. Dude, no, I would totally watch the crap out of that periscope.
Well, I can't do like any real motion graphics work there, but I am going to sit down, organize my day, go about what I need to do.
You could just like team viewer into your computer at home and then do Octane there.
No, I'm much more comfortable sitting right here with my 5 screens.
Yeah. I know, I've seen your tutorials. There are a lot of screens.
There's lots of screens. And so
I need to put a Brograph one on my secondary screen.
Totally.
Then hook up my my iMac behind me, then do that. Or I could just like put a green screen behind me. Oh man, that's the best. I need to put a green screen behind me and then just put like Brograph stuff everywhere.
Yes, you do.
I've lost all my Periscope viewers with the exception of my wife.
I have no Periscope viewers.
Did you post it on Facebook?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm starting this whole thing on my own. So this is like super awesome. And
totally.
I'm nervous
Dude,
at the same time.
You have no idea how amazing your life is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
I'm looking forward to it. I was having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. It's like the scariest, and you probably said this before too. It's the scariest thing in the world, and at the same time, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. You worry about where your paycheck's going to come from every week, but like you crush it and you hustle and you just like get stuff done and
watch a lot of Gary Vee.
If you've got time, because you could be just so busy,
Oh, I actually put him on every morning while I'm doing stuff, because he does a daily thing.
Yeah, he does.
So I'm doing that, and I'm like, I had this, like, I don't know, like, just sudden epiphany the other day, even though I knew this already, but it was just like, I literally, after today, don't have to work for anyone else the rest of my life if I do this correctly.
Yeah, totally.
And like, it really hit me hard, like out of the blue, like here it is.
It's like this is the thing that you've been thinking about your entire life. Like, it's like, when you say, well, when I grow up, I want to do this. When I grow up, I want to do this, when I grow up, mine was always, when I started doing video editing and stuff, it was, when I grow up, I want to have my own post-production house. Which now I don't necessarily need to do that, but I mean, this is kind of the direction we're going and stuff like that. It's
right, exactly.
Super exciting. Like, I'm super pumped for you. And I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Well, thanks. And everybody I've talked to has had great things to say. It's been like, you're going to crush it and this and that. And I'm sure everything will be fine, but there's, there's always going to be some doubt, like you said, where's the next paycheck coming from? But so far I've been too busy to even promote or work on anything.
But you're going to get far enough ahead to where, you know, then you'll have enough to like last you to where you can spend some time doing some promotion, you know?
Right. I'll be waiting for some checks to come in.
Exactly.
And in fact, I've already got a possible 3-week contract deal coming up.
That's fantastic. Is that the one you told me about earlier?
Yeah. So
nice.
It's crazy, man.
Cray.
It's cray. You know, I feel good about it. I walked in the bathroom and I was looking at the man in the mirror and I was asking him to make a change. But
yeah, I'm gonna need you to step into my office. You're fired.
I really need a day off is what I need.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of transitioned to this without stopping. Like I was already slammed and it just doubles the amount of crazy work I have to do because I'm trying to wrap up the project at my old job as well as, you know, keep new clients happy and whatnot. And so that's been pretty nuts. In fact, last night was like the first time I actually got to just take a break and do anything.
What'd you do?
Like watch TV or anything. I literally watched TV for like an hour and fell asleep. But,
nice.
You know, I hadn't hung out with my wife or anything like that. And she knows this is going to be a difficult couple weeks just to get situated here.
Yeah.
And then it will be a little bit better and things are going to even out.
Totes.
You know? And, but, you know, that's coming soon. But I sat down and it was just like the wheels were still spinning. You know what I mean? Because I've just been going so fast. Like I sit down and I finally relax and I do not know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Like I have been working on work stuff and my own stuff and Brograph stuff like for 3 weeks, 15 hours a day without stopping, nights and weekends, the whole deal. And so like I'm ready for a little bit of time off. I might take a day when I can find one somewhere. You know, and just completely chill.
Trust me, man. Like you're gonna go to Starbucks and you're gonna be working on stuff. It's going to feel. You're gonna feel like you have every day off from now on.
Right.
You're gonna have to work, yes, in order to do this stuff, but every day is going to feel like a day off.
Right. It won't feel like work.
It won't feel like work.
And it's great because it's around Thanksgiving too. So like, you know, I'm gonna finish up this week strong. You and I have plans. We're working in our shared space on Wednesday and then Thanksgiving and take some time there. And I might do a couple things on Friday that I need to get done. But, you know, other than that, it's going to be some nice relaxing downtime. And so
totally.
Been working on this project too for the place I was working on. And I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, the Christmas card one.
Yeah, I'm working with our buddy Lance, who, you know, we've talked about on the show many times. And, man, we've just been building some really cool looking stuff. And I'm so happy with the way that it's going.
Yeah, I really like the stuff that you've sent me so far. It looks really good.
I'll have to do a Brograph breakdown on this. There's it's really cool the way that we started out this project, because once we kind of had a script in mind and we had a storyboard, it was a matter of like, this is kind of a winter wonderland scene.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is this landscape that we had to come up with, and we kind of had to map it out, right? Like, where is this going to be? Where is that going to be in the map? Because the camera's going through this huge sweeping landscape. And so Lance and Joe and I sat there with a whiteboard, and we had multiple colors on the whiteboard, and we started making this giant whiteboard map of where everything's going to be and labeling stuff. And then we would do different areas and we would mark the elevations. So we would say there's going to be 4 different levels, like 0 is water, right? And 1 is land. And then 2 is kind of where it builds up around here. And 3 is the mountain peaks. And, you know, we did it like that, right? Well, we actually took a photograph of what we were done with on the whiteboard and brought that into Photoshop and started building a displacement map out of our whiteboard drawing.
That's cool.
So it was really fun. Like I mean, and you see it and you bring it in and you displace it and then you map the whiteboard straight back onto it. So you can see where we marked where all these things need to go on the map. And then you put the displacement in there and all of a sudden the elevation just pops up. and all of a sudden you have the landscape that you designed.
That's cool. That's way cool. Did you take a picture of it so that you could kind of do like a before and after?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, we had the picture from putting it on the map, so like I've got all sorts of stuff. I've been documenting it because, you know, I tend to forget to take screenshots and pictures and videos of things while I'm building them, and yeah, you can go back, but it's always a pain to kind of undo what you did to go back, and I just like getting screenshots and stuff while I'm working. So we are using this displacement technique that it's nothing special, but it's something that I don't think a lot of people are fully aware of. Like I think there was some not displacement, there was some deformer thing that you were telling me about a couple weeks ago. It was the bevel tool, I think.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I didn't really ever think to use that. And it's the same kind of deal where I've even noticed a lot in the Cinema 4D subreddit. People are totally like not really aware that you can just use the displacement deformer to do your displacement and get live results in the viewer. So I just did a tutorial tonight on how to use that. Now, it wasn't about images. Of course, you could use images like we did, but it was more about taking that displacement deformer and then putting noise into it. So I'm doing kind of it's a 3-part series, but it covers 2 different topics. One of them being displacement, and one of them being noise. So like the first 2 are about displacement. It's displacement and noise, and how you could use noise and do multiplications on top of noise to do different types of cool displacement and animated displacement. The next one, which will be later on this week, is going to be taking what you already have there and then inputting audio into it. So using Espresso to directly affect the strength of the displacement so that it kind of bumps up and down. Yeah. You could have it do all the audio, or you could have it do like just the bass, or, you know. And then the third part of the whole displacement noise series, I guess this would be the noise series of it, is using that same kind of noise technique on a, what do you call it? What do you call it? Shader. I wrote it a shader effector. So you're using the shader effector with Brograph, but you're putting noise into it to create different effects using noise.
That's cool.
So
it's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I've thought about lately is doing the pillow tutorial and stuff like that, doing the different techniques. And also a big one, I finally figured out how to light interiors using Octane this week.
Yeah.
It's like I got to do a tutorial on it because, you know, it's so different than V-Ray, you know. V-Ray is it's a little bit, it's actually, once you kind of figure it out, it's actually just as easy as V-Ray. It's just as easy. So anyway,
well, you got to do one on curtains too.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
You really need to do that one.
So I actually did. I'm doing a project right now at work where I'm having to create this interior scene, and we've got these curtains, and we made these curtains and stuff. And I did my technique for curtains, which is basically just, you know, draw a spline and loft it between the exact same spline. And they said these curtains look too perfect. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, everything up at the top is the same as at the bottom, so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, what was it? They said something like, art directors would kill to get these actual types of curtains.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Well,
is that a good thing or a bad?
You should do a whole interior series or something.
Yeah, I want
like
to.
Pillows and like cloth and couch, because you've already got the repeating textures tutorial.
Yeah,
did.
totally.
That did really well.
Yeah.
Was it somebody, Maxon and Cineversity retweeted that?
Yeah, totally. And I felt like that was a good one because, like, I was able to find out how to do that through like some Photoshop forums and stuff like that instead of just Cinema 4D forums. Like they were showing you how to make a pattern or whatever for the pattern brush, and so I was able to turn that into a Cinema 4D one.
Well, anyway. You also like the multi-shader thing.
Yes.
That's working for you now.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, so the multi-shader, For the longest time, you guys have heard me gripe and complain about the multi-shader and that the multi-shader does not work in Octane. Well, Dave played around with it and he's like, yeah, this totally works, and sent me his project. So I looked at it and I had been doing the exact same thing. So basically with the multi-shader, if you guys don't know what the multi-shader is basically you create a cloner object and you throw something in it. Like I use it for tiles, or when I want to get a slightly different variation on something, or whether I've got like 15 different tiles that I need to randomly put the texture onto, like a floor or something like that. Well, in V-Ray it's really easy, in standard renderer it's really easy because you just use a multi-shader. Well, you use the multi-shader in like as your texture or whatever, and throw image textures in Octane into each of one of your things. Well, what I was coming up every time I would play with it, I kept getting it would just give me one texture over and over and over and over again. And the problem with it is that I've ran into this problem with carbon scatter, where using Octane, carbon scatter, it when you send the scene to Octane, it'll give it to you back, but the second you move your camera or something, it'll erase all your stuff. Now the stuff is there, it just doesn't show up on your preview renderer or whatever. Well, that's what was happening. It was only showing one of them anytime I made some sort of little change. So I didn't know that it would, if I would have rendered it, it would have been fine. But because I was going through and not seeing it on the interactive preview renderer, I assumed that it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So the multi-shader does work for Octane, and that makes making interior scenes a whole lot better. My life is like amazing now. Now that I can, it's great being able to go from a 1 hour render. Like I did a render. That scene that I was talking about that I was just so mad at because the guy who did it on Turbo Squid didn't do it to scale and didn't give it exactly like he did on 3ds Max.
Yeah.
So I took that one and I originally did it in V-Ray. Well, the other day I had some time, so I took it and I redid it in Octane. Well, the V-Ray version was taking me about an hour, 15 minutes to render one frame, right? Because it's... And that's using 1, 2, 3, 4 computers. I retextured it. I redid it in Octane, and it took me 5 minutes. So
wow,
yeah. And it ended up looking more realistic.
That's good.
Being able to use the new technique that I came up with. I don't know if I came up with it, but I was able to figure out a good way to do it. So anyway, yeah, I guess that'll be my next tutorial. Maybe I'll do a whole series, interior scene, interior lighting, and different things. Yeah,
there's a V-Ray cloth shader tutorial that I just happened to run across that I'll put in the show notes too, that you might want to check out.
Yeah, send that to me. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's in your Skype right now. Yeah.
All right, I'll look at it.
That'll be in the show notes, and I'm going to be doing some more live Brograph modeling and stuff as well. So yeah. I'll be doing that tomorrow. Probably, I don't know, maybe tomorrow afternoon. And so I'm going to do that, and then depending on how things go, I'm going to be working on a pretty big one for us, for our Nexus and for Brograph, the little Christmas thing.
Yeah, the Christmas Octane one. That's going to be killer. So
I'm actually going to try and do the entire modeling of the entire thing in there. Now I'm going to. It just depends on how much work I end up getting in December, but if it's something where I'm not going to be able to get to it, then it'll have to be for next Christmas, I guess. But
this V-Ray cloth shaders one for Maya. It's not in cinema, but
really?
I could probably, because that's one thing about V-Ray. They're really good about
it's being cross.
Yeah. They translate well. They translate really well. But anyway.
So I've been doing some some motion tracking mixed with Octane stuff this week too.
Yeah.
And in fact, I see a bunch of it coming in now in my Dropbox. Joe, who we've also talked about on the show, he has been doing a lot of motion tracking for me this week, and it's pretty interesting. It's a guy holding a checkerboard box, and it's going to be replaced digitally with like a house, and so that's been pretty interesting. But it's worked really well. Like he has gone in, he's using PF Track, and he's tracking everything.
Yeah, he's a big fan of PF Track.
And he's doing and I love PF Track. Like it's my go-to, but I'm just not like as well versed in it or as quick as he is.
Yeah, I like PF Track, but I really like Buju.
But it does object tracking, and that's the main thing because these are all lockdown shots. So he's doing object tracking on the box, on the checkerboard box, and giving it back as a box. But he gives it back to me in Cinema 4D as an FBX. And man, I tell you, it was so easy. Because I was able to open up After Effects and pull in that original piece of green screen footage and then use Cineware and just bring in the C4D file. I went in Cinema 4D and I put the house that I was going to do. Lance textured it for me in Octane. And I positioned it in exactly where the box was and made it a child of the box so that it moved with the object tracking that Joe did. And then I brought it in Cineware just to lay the two on top of each other with a wireframe and just make sure that it worked. And man, it was just perfect right out the box. Like it worked so well. And so I'm working on that project this week, and but it's nice. And then he went into Nuke and was able to pull some really good rotos of the guy's hands and the guy's head, because of course his hands and head are on top of the box.
Right,
have
of
to
course.
be, so then he did a TIFF sequence of that, like a matte for that. So for me, it's just a matter of just making it look pretty now.
Yeah.
I've got to bring the house in, render it out where I want it, and put nice backgrounds in, do the keys, do the mats, and just kind of put the rest of it together. So
yeah, I saw the track. The track was really good. Like as soon as he grabs that house, it actually looks like he's really grabbing it.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do, because if you don't get it right, it will do this weird wobbly thing, where it's like the axis is too sensitive, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But if you don't get your camera and everything right, it doesn't work. So, luckily he had all the camera and lens information and just everything about it. So, so that's been interesting. It's something different. I don't do a lot of that kind of stuff. So, something a little bit different than just regular old motion graphics. So, what else do I have on the list here for today?
No. We had one iTunes review. So shout out to, we had one. Other than, so we had two before last week. First one by Send3 Films. Good guy. He follows us on Twitter and stuff, and he gives us a retweet every time we tweet, which is good stuff. Then there's you.
Yeah, I was just messing around.
Yeah, and then there's,
you know what I wrote, of course.
Yeah, that's pretty good, I guess.
It's pretty good, I guess.
And then there's IZR. So shout out to IZR for the cool review on iTunes. Once we get 4 more reviews, we'll continue the contest going. Once we get 4 more reviews, then we'll give away a free T-shirt. Now,
is it only to those people who have posted?
It's from last week on.
Until when? We have to have a cutoff, though.
So if we only get 2 reviews within the next month, then it goes between the 2 people.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
All right. So the cutoff is the end of the year, is that right?
Sure, we'll say the cutoff is the end of the year.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Or the end of the year, or 5 reviews, whichever comes first.
You'd think we'd be able to get more than that, but
right, that's all right.
What else did I have on here?
I don't know.
I was thinking about this today. It's interesting that there, just the way technology is now, that there's literally some clients that I have never met in person.
Yeah, same here. And you mentioned it. That's totally true.
some of it's people that you and I have, neither one of us have met, which is extremely weird. But a lot of times it's like you got a client you work with, and I've talked to them or I've worked with them, but I haven't met them, and vice versa, you know. But it's really weird because it's just, you know, just how technology is these days. And I don't know if that's something that is detrimental to a business relationship. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it can work either way. You know, like I've got one guy, I will say it's a whole lot harder to get a feel for someone over like Skype or over the phone or whatever without having met them, or just over email. Over email's the worst. You know, you definitely can't tell what kind of person they are unless you talk to them on the phone or something. But versus being in person with them and knowing how they interact and, you know, their mannerisms and stuff, like it's totally different. But I think sometimes with a phone call, you can start to get to know that person a little bit better, and like whether they're joking or whether they sound more serious or whether, and you can definitely tell the people who know what they're talking about versus what they don't know what they're talking about, you know? So I don't know. But it is interesting. You're right. Like we don't need to, we don't actually have to, you know, really see clients nowadays, you know?
I think it is nice. I mean, like I have one in particular that I've worked with many times, but I only met him like the first time. You know, we had lunch or something and talked, and after that, like I never had to see him again. It was interesting, but there is a bit of personality to that. You know, like you put a face to the name, and then it's just more personal. I think maybe they're more likely to stick with you if you have a relationship with them, or if you do lunch every now and then or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Some people, it's funny. Some people you kind of want to do that with, you know, because like you actually would be able to go like have a nice lunch with them and actually enjoy yourself. Some people it's like, well, I don't think I would actually enjoy having lunch with this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's some people, especially in certain industries too, you know, like some clients of ours are video clients, right? Like they're in the video industry and they need us to do something for video, and you have more to talk about. But
yeah. Other clients are just like mechanical or in a completely different field. And right. It's like you're not going to talk video with them. You're going to talk, you know, small talk like the weather and sports teams and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually have a client he's in Denver, you know? So we joke around about the like my commute all the time, you know, because he tells me to give him a call, and I was like, okay, I'll call you once I get done with my hour-and-a-half commute. So. And I've never met the guy. Never met him.
Never met the guy.
No.
So how did you find? How did the guy find you or whatever?
A friend of mine sent him my way. Like a really good friend of mine sent him my way because he couldn't do the work legally for the guy because it would have been a conflict of interest for him because he worked for the same type of company.
Oh, I see.
And he's a good person. Yeah. So he sent him over my way, you know, and he's been a good client ever since.
I've had people hit me up on, like, you know, from Google before. I used to run Google ads on my old site. I still get, every now and then, I will get someone from my old site. I think you and I have some clients that have just called me out of the blue because my old website was up and I just brought them in over to the new company. But it's really random. But yeah, there are a bunch of those. I could name tons of them. That, you know, and you may even be surprised that I haven't met them because, you know, a lot of times when you're doing work, and I'm, you know, on a project that I brought in, you haven't met the person. You don't even necessarily know that I haven't met them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just assume you haven't met anyone that you do work for.
And so the same thing applies the other way. Like you probably have brought some people in that you know, that dude you're talking about might be one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to talk about the dilemma of some logos not lending themselves to animation very well.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I did some great animations this week. I did some that really turned out nice. What's that?
I said that's a matter of opinion.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Like, there's one in particular that I did, and I spent some time on it. It looks really great. I think it really does the trick for what they're trying to do. It's a station ident type thing, right? And it just fits. It fits for the show. It fits for the whole thing, and they loved it. Their client loved it, etc. Right? And then I did another ident on the same network for something else, and it's just like, I opened the AI file and I'm like, man, this is gonna be a tough one. And it's just like some stuff just does not lend itself to 3D. You know, and when you get in the situations, it's kind of like, what do you do? You know, what do you do when you get a logo that is just totally flat? You can't really like some stuff like the other one I did this week. I saw it in my head. The moment I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And you get those other ones, you're like, oh, man, I don't know. Like, and not only that, but when you just don't have any idea how you want to go about doing an animation or coming up with a style, what do you do? Like, what do you do to get ideas?
About someone's logo?
Well, like you get a logo and you want to come up with a style, or you want to do a technique or something, and you're just kind of like writer's block.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, there's always, you know, if I don't know, if you're stuck to a specific logo, you know, that's sometimes hard because you've got to try and figure something else. I mean, Behance is a good choice for going and getting inspiration, in my opinion. You know, so I had to do a soccer video a few weeks ago, and so I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, and so I went through Behance and I just started Googling soccer videos, you know, trying to get different ideas from different things that other people have done. So I don't know. I mean, there's that, but really, I mean, you've got to know, you have to have done logos enough times in order. I mean, some of them you just know what to do. I don't know. What do you think?
And I guess sometimes you just have to go with it and just do your best, and it's not going to be real worthy or anything like that. But, you know, if someone provides you with a not so great looking 2D logo, I mean, you end up coming up with a not so great looking 3D logo, but you've done everything you can, you know. I mean, I don't know what else to do in those kind of situations, but unfortunately they can't all be a masterpiece, right? You know, but doesn't mean you don't spend a lot of time. And you know what's funny about it?
Sometimes you spend more time on that one than you do on...
Absolutely. Yeah. I spent way more time on the tough one.
On polishing a turd?
Yeah, basically. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to pay the bills, right? So
got to pay the bills.
Payday bills.
Word.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, this is just an interesting way of looking at things. Two things I heard from a guy named Jack Welsh this week. Is that these days you are not... Like, these days you are selling your time. Like, time is a commodity, right?
Absolutely.
And what you're doing is you're selling your time. So I think of it that way, too. You know, there are a lot of people who could probably do what we do or do something passable, but maybe they haven't done it enough times. Like, you and I, for example, have done logos. A million times. We've done so many logos. I have a logo reel with every logo I've done on it, and it's 13 minutes long.
Yep. And the music is disgusting.
On purpose. But the thing about it is, having that under my belt, you having that under your belt, you're offering a service to people to give them back their time.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get it done quick. You're going to get it done well. and you're going to give them a decent price on it. It's still going to be worth the time. I don't want to say cheap, like our conversation last week, right? But it's just interesting thinking about it that way. Time is the commodity. You only have so many hours in a day. And so, like for me, for example, with getting Joe to do that motion track, I could do a motion track, but
you would have spent more time on it than he would have, maybe.
Well, and also it's the fact that I have to get this thing done quick.
Right.
So I have to time shift the other things I'm working on to get, like, this logo thing I've been talking about. I have all these other logos that I got to do. I can't spend that time because those are due too. I have to figure out, okay, well, what can I maybe lose some money on because I need to pay somebody to do it rather than do it myself, because I need to trade off that money for time in order to make more money doing my thing. It's a time, there's a commodity, right? So like somebody has to move their time over to me in order for me to get logos done. And then I therefore have to take a motion track project and move that time over to somebody else. So everybody is shifting their time around as the commodity to find the people who can do it the fastest. And then it's just about price at that point. It's an interesting way of looking at how that works. But when you're selling to people and you're promoting your own brand, let's say, that's what you have to do. You have to go out and say, look, what I'm offering to you is not only good quality product and, I'm good at what I'm doing, but this is going to save you time.
Yeah, totally.
And now if you're selling it to a production company, if you're selling this, your time as a contractor to a production company, that's a good place to go on that note, because most of the time those places might have somebody that knows 3D, but the way that the economy is right now, it's really hard for some places to keep a 3D or a motion graphics person on staff full time because of the nature of their business. A lot of places don't do a lot of that stuff. They're all editing, all documentaries or something. They can't have just an animator just waiting around.
Yeah, or they'll do like they do with me and kind of have a jack of all trades,
Right.
Send me to do Photoshop work for weeks on end.
Right. But that it's such a good thing to have, when you go in and you're going to network, or you're going to go in and just even cold call or get on LinkedIn or whatever you're going to do to sell yourself. Say, look, this is what I offer, and this is really going to save you time, and I'm going to get you a good product. If you go in with that mentality, I think that it's really helpful.
Yeah, totally.
Now, what I was thinking about on that same note, though, is how do you sell that to people who are not in video production? So the regular clients, the corporations who need some sort of product animation or something. Because obviously they can't animate, but how are you going to convince them that this is? How are you just going to put in that added bonus in there?
Honestly, with that, I would think, me personally, would think that, if you're talking to someone who, if you're able to talk the talk and walk the walk, and you're able to kind of show examples of what you can do through your reel and stuff like that, they're going to know what you're capable of, and so they're going to be more inclined to trust your opinion, so to say. What do you think?
Yeah, I see that. I wonder if maybe it's just not, I don't know, maybe it's just not possible to really put it that way to that type of client, but I don't know.
Some clients just won't get it.
Yeah.
They will not get it. No matter how many times you say it, a lot of clients, and this I've run into this problem a lot, where you have clients who just can't visualize or have no artistic ability and just can't see beyond what they want. And so these are the type of clients that you can't just give a half-done project and say, is this the right direction? Oh, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do, okay, well, cool, let's go back and do that. So we do that, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't really like this direction in the first place. And you're like, whoa, okay, let's step back. There goes my Periscope camera.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got 0 viewers. I've had 0 viewers almost the whole time.
Oh.
I'm going to post a Facebook post.
No hearts for you. So Grayscale Gorilla, 4 hours ago, they announced that they're coming out with a new product tomorrow.
Really? What is it?
Yeah, it is called Top Coat.
Okay.
It's reflectance made simple, and top coat like
a car,
like car paint. And so they show this car paint thing. So months of work and research went into making reflectance simple.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it's a multi-layer reflection thing. I can't imagine what exactly it would be. Just maybe something that just simplifies the layers of reflectance. But man, it's just it's just hard to even be interested in it when I have Octane.
But I don't get it. Like, how would it make it easier? Is it because Octane is pretty easy, Like, that's one thing that kind of drew me to it is how easy it was.
Right.
Like you've got, you basically have 3 options. It's how much reflection, what's your reflection of index, and how blurry you want it to be.
Right.
And then
noise,
you've got bump and stuff like that, but that's all. And you've got your other stuff like transparency and blah, blah, blah. But your main 3 you're going to use on anything is your, reflectance.
Yeah, I think this is,
and I don't know.
This is more like when it comes to car paint, you have multiple layers. Just like the reflections channel has multiple layers, where you can do like your base coat, and then you do like the part that has like the glittery, sparkly stuff in it, and then you got the layer that's the gloss coat, and that's why car paint is so difficult to do in 3D. Which I'm guessing that's what this is. Top coat, it's like super multi-layered reflectance. But man, when you get into super multi-layered reflectance, then render times just get crazy.
Yeah.
With the standard renderer anyway.
Yeah.
But when you do mixed materials in Octane, and I'm assuming in V-Ray as well, when you do those multiple layers, you do like a reflective layer, and then you do like another one with a little bit of blur in it, and then another shine on top. I've done stuff before where you got like a real bumpy layer and then a shiny layer on top of that, and then like a shiny blurred layer with different specular depth. And the thing is that I want to be excited about it. I'm looking at it, they're not showing much yet, and I want to look into it and be excited, but it's just like, man, I can only imagine how long something is going to take to render.
And that's all. It's speculation. Who knows? It could be really good. It could be. Yeah. It could change the way we do 3D standard rendering. Who knows? And who knows? Maybe it works really well with V-Ray or Octane or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds to me like it's controlling reflectance layers just by looking at it. Like it's controlling the existing reflectance layers.
And where did you see this announcement? Was it put on?
This is on their Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would doubt that it would work with Octane or anything, because I think it's actually based on reflectance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I can't be like fully excited about it because of Octane. It's like simple. I can see stuff right away instead of waiting, an hour for one frame to render.
Yeah.
But
like I do.
Like you do. Like you do. Oh, and here's something else that Jack Welsh said. Not to get stuck in a position where you're swelling instead of growing. And
what does that mean?
And so
like you're taking on more than
it's an analogy. It's an analogy to like building your business where you want to be growing, which means growing. I don't. It's just something you see in your head. Like it makes sense when you hear the analogy. If you're swelling, that means like I guess everybody's taking on too much, and you're bound to burst. It's kind of like what I was doing before. I was working way too much on and not really. I wasn't growing. Because I couldn't get my business going on the side with a full-time job. I was trying to do all this stuff. There weren't enough hours in the day. That's exactly what it was. I was swelling instead of growing. So now I'm trying to reduce the swelling. I'm trying to ice it down, and I'm growing now. And I just thought it was a great analogy. So he's got some good videos. This is a guy who's got plenty of experience under his belt. He's an older guy, and so I would look him up.
Cool.
And then also there's a Star Wars theme art show that's coming to Dallas that I think you and I might go hit up. And Already Been Chewed, the guys from Already Been Chewed are going to be there. And we would like to meet them. Haven't met them before, even though they're in Dallas.
Yes, we would.
And they did a cool little animation for it. And it's like, you know the picture of Biggie Smalls with the crown?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, except it's Darth Vader with the crown.
Cool.
So they did this little animation for it. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be. And that's on December 10th in Dallas.
If you're in Dallas at the time.
Yeah, come and see it.
Come see us.
And then my idea along those lines as well is to start a Cinema 4D club.
Oh, look at you.
Which we've been talking about doing forever.
Have for like a couple of years.
And, you know, there's one in Chicago,
mm-hmm.
and that is Chicago C4D.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there are a couple other ones, but it would be really nice if we could get it all together like in a network, you know, so they're all kind of part of the same deal.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, I've had dfwc4d.com registered. And
mm-hmm.
so that's going to be where the DFW one will be. But I also have registered cinema4d.club, top level domain. Club
that's
top
cool.
level domain. And so that would be pretty cool. What I'd like to do on there is kind of get a list of all the clubs together.
Yeah.
And so everybody could link to that and say, hey, if you're looking for a club near you, you can go to cinema4d.club and it will show Chicago C4D and DFW C4D and all the different Cinema 4D meetups, because it's hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really hard to find those people. And what I'm hoping to do with the C4D club is we do get the C4D people in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe we get Already Been Chewed people in, and we get, you know, some of our friends who are contractors and whatnot. But I would like to get in people who don't necessarily know about Cinema 4D.
Mm-hmm.
Or want to learn about it.
After Effects or motion graphics guy.
Yeah, motion graphics, just because, you know, even if we're showing off what we're doing, I think people that don't know Cinema 4D would still like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they still like to nerd out and see what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of brewing. It's one of those things that's been on the back burner. It's
mm-hmm.
getting closer to the front burner, but it's not quite up there yet. But
it's not quite being cooked.
Not quite being cooked because I got too many other things going on. But
yeah.
It will be something as well for people to network and all of that. And I think if anybody else in their city feels like they want to start a club,
mm-hmm.
You know, let us know. We'll put you on the cinema4d.club website. Or if you already have one,
mm-hmm.
let us know, and we'll put you on there once we get that up and running. I think it'll be great.
Totally.
All right, so that's all I got. I don't know about you. Been so busy, I haven't had time to really think about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been doing one every week for the past, I don't know, month or so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we got to
not everyone can be a winner.
Still was good, I think.
Yeah.
Did about an hour, right?
I think we're going to have a bunch of, you know, we've got a bunch of ideas for tutorials coming up, which is going to be, we're going to be jam-packing you full of tutorials here coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we got yours that you talked about. I've
you know
got
what? I've got a half day Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off. I may try and do an entire series that week. So
you should. You definitely should.
Yeah, totally.
I think we can get a lot in the can, and we can kind of get a queue going. I want to do some stuff on navigating the viewport, on baking Brograph.
Yeah.
I would like to do a Christmas one if I have time, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cool to do one on a golf ball. That kind of came up in the Reddit
I saw that
this week.
I saw that one.
So, and instancing. That will probably be my next one after the displacement stuff, is instance masters.
Okay.
That should be a good one. I think it'll be really helpful for a lot of people. So that's all I got.
Cool.
So Don't forget to rate us on iTunes like we were talking about earlier. Please leave us a review. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us other people know that you like the show too and spread the word. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, Brograph Tutorials, and then BrographToots@gmail.com is our email address.
For right now.
For now.
Maybe we'll work on that this week.
Still working on that. Yeah. And you can also get the t-shirt. There's a link on the website where you can order the t-shirt off of Amazon. It's nice and easy. You can get it Amazon Prime. And
Christmas is coming up.
That's right.
So is my birthday. My birthday's in like 2 weeks. You could send me one.
Get your favorite animator Brograph t-shirt.
Yep.
No Brograph, no Mograph. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, and of course Brograph.com.
Yep. Dave's been doing a lot of these Periscopes lately, so hit us up on Periscope, and then it'll announce anytime he's just live modeling, and he'll answer your questions. It was so funny. I was on Periscope the other day, just randomly trolling people, and then I'm looking around my area, and I see Dave, and he's just modeling for Brograph.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. And then I started texting him instead of leaving him messages.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week, next Sunday night. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. And until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.